What up YouTube? So welcome back to my channel. My name is Caleb, and in this video we're going to talk about how do you study web design. So as you're just getting started with this whole web UI thing, I believe that there must be a lot of people telling you to just go online and just copy some other people's work and try to use exactly how they do it in their design to be your own design, right? That's very true, because you don't have any understanding about the relationship between a button, what is the fonts inside the button, what's the padding inside the button. So if you can copy all this thing, then you learn a lot of really details into that design. But if you just go on a design and just look at it and try to copy it, you cannot do it. Just like right now, if I tell you, let's go on YouTube and try to copy exactly how YouTube is doing in their design, right? You may go to YouTube, you may look at the video boxes, you may look at the task, and you try to do something similar. But to really copying a design, you have to learn the relationship between the content box and the images. What is the padding between that? How much font size do they use in that paragraph? And all this very little detail thing, right? So how do you actually do this? In this video right now, I'm gonna tell you how do you do all this thing. So for the sake of this video, let's go to Dribbble and go to a person called Blaz, and he's an Australian designer. He's a very talented designer. Not that I'm saying you have to study from this guy, but he has really good work, and he's very generous as well. He created a bunch of tutorials, not tutorials actually. He created a bunch of templates online that you can download for free. So let's try to learn from this guy first, and I will just show you how do I study a design. So the design itself doesn't really matter that much, but the way to study matters. So let's scroll down to the free PSD section, and then when you click on that, just scroll all the way down. He has a lot of different templates as well, but we're gonna focus on one today. So go all the way down, and then you will see this piece of work. So let's go to the free PSD area, and then download the free PSD. So to download that, right, you will need to have Photoshop. So if you don't have Photoshop installed, just go to adobe.com and try to get the free trial for a month. So there are a few things when you're studying design you would like to pay attention to. The very first thing is definitely you want to look at the page layout. How does this designer lay out the page, and how does he play with the composition? So images and content blocks and all this little details, right? What is the grid like? How big is the grid? How wide is the grid? What is the grid between the canvas size and the grid size? So all this detail dimension you may want to pay attention to. The second thing is the typography. So in every single web page, right, a big chunk of space is composed with the typography, as you can see in the design right now, right? So down at the bottom here, everything down here is all typography. So how does he play with the paragraph? How does he play with the line heights in the paragraph and all this things, detail thing in the typography, right? What is the font sizes with the title and the font sizes with the body fonts? So second thing. So third thing is how does it play with margin spaces? So let's say right now you see this padding space, right? Padding space. So how wide is this between the contents and the edge of the content box? And all this detail thing again, what is the spaces between the button and the input form and all this, right? So let's get started into the design. So right now, first thing first, let's turn on the grid. So in all this design right now, you can turn on your grid in your Photoshop. If you're on a MacBook, then you can hit Command:, and that's how you can turn on the grid. And I think there are some other ways you can turn it on as well, but again, it's not a Photoshop tutorial. So now when you're on the grid, right, you can see a big elements in here is the mountain. So the mountain is popping out of the grid. That creates some kind of visual interest to the page, and this is very interesting. So you can see how does he play with this color background in here. One side is extending out of the grid, the other side is within the grid. So again, it's very interesting layout in here, mountain out of it. So in every single layout, right, if you have something that is popping out of the grid, that's more interesting to your eye, so it catches your attention a little more. So you may want to play with some elements and like that. So very first thing, right, Second thing, also like you can take a look at the details as well, like how does he put like every single thing inside the grid. So right now you can see this button, right? They're cutting it to the grid, and this as well cutting into the grid. So how does he actually maybe use some kind of elements like that in your page too, right? See how you align all this like paragraph. So yeah, study that. And the second thing is the typography. So right now if you look at this, right, the navigation typography, so you can see that like he has 0.16 to be all this font width, and you can also like play around with the font weights as well. Right now you can see like he's using a semi-bold with all this font weights, right? You can try to like play around with that and see like, hey, let's say I want to change it to regular. How does it look like in regular right now, right? It seems a little too thin. So especially when it's on a color background like that, it seems to be not catching that much weight with the fonts, right? So like in that case, I think what he had is perfect. It's great. You can also try to play with like font sizes as well, and try to play with like 14. It's too small, right? So you know that like in this situation, in this cases right now, 16 point weights and 16 point size with the semi-bold weight is pretty good for this case. Also look at like the title fonts, right? A title font here, he has like 0.40, and then with light heights to be light. Why does he like use lights, and why does he here use bold? One of the reasons I can think of is that like when the font is bigger, he already has more weights to the fonts, right? So you don't have to like pop, like you don't have to use the weights to increase the attention, because it's already bold and it's already big. You can just have like something that is a little lighter and still like you're catching a lot of attention to the title font. So also pay attention to like the letter spacing as well. You can see that right now it's -25, and if you just try to play with it, right, if you try to like make it to 0, then you can see that you increase the letter spacing on the fonts, and it kind of stretch out the fonts a little bigger. But again, right, there's a little the gap in between each character is a little increased right now, and make the fonts a little not too dense, right? But like making it a little tighter, just make the fonts a little more compact and nicer. And also like take a look at like how people play with the body fonts, but on the header section. So usually on a header section, the body fonts is a little bigger than the fonts below it, than the actual body fonts, because again, right, this section right here, you want to catch attention, you want people to look at that. So if your font size is too small, most likely is that people are going to skip it. So think about like the important information you want to emphasize on the page, and how people play with that in the font sizes. So a lot of like this little detail thing, like think about like, why is this font a little smaller than the other ones, right? Why is it smaller than that above, right? Right now it's like 13 point size. Why is it smaller? One of the reasons I think is that like your name, your contact number is not something that should catch your attention, so it doesn't have to be that big. So think about like what catches your attention, where do you want to emphasize on the page, right? So lastly, let's take a look at the margin spacing. So right now you can see the margin spacing with your I don't know what this tool calls, but like with your wrapping tool, selecting tool. So right now you can see that like this margin spacing, the width of this is 40 points, and what is it from here to here now? From here to here is about like 50 point, right? 50 point. So 50 points from like top to from the separating the title and the elements above it, and 40 point from the side to the content box to the side. So like all these very little margin spaces, you may want to pay attention at those as well, because like these are the things that can give your design more room to breathe. And how about like this padding right now? Like what is the padding between the edge of a button? Both sides of the button, right? So what is the padding in here? So you set the padding to be 44 points or 45 point. I'm sorry, to be around like 40 points, right? 40 point on each side. So if you decrease the button size, right, then this button is not gonna look as nice as how it was before. So we always want to maintain kind of like ratio between like the top and the sides, right? So you can really study a lot of things even in that button, just studying like all this like padding, font sizes, right? So you may ask like, hey Caleb, What about like there's a design that I want to study, but they don't have the PSD version like that? I can download and study it, right? Can I still do something like just like how you do it just now? There are definitely so many other ways that you can study a design, and one of the ways that you can, let's say if you see on Dribbble, right, they have a very beautiful work you want to study, you can just copy it to your Photoshop and study exactly the same thing that I just do. So I'm going to show you how now. So again, going on Dribbble, I saw like this piece of work that is really good and I really want to learn from it. So what I do is I copy the design, and then going back to Photoshop, then I'll paste the design right here. So copy and paste, right, basically paste the design right here. So this is like the whole page, right? So again, this is how I can study right now, right? So I will say right now, let's see, like, so the whole grid is about 1800, right? So the whole width is 1800. What is the grid that he uses in here right now? So he uses so about like 1290 points. So that's like the whole grid is in here, right? So 1290 point. And right now, how big is the fonts, right? So it's a little tricky here right now. You can raise it the font size, right? But I'll just try to like make up a point. So I still want to study like how big he uses in here, right? So how big is this thing right now? So one thing you can do is like you can kind of measure like how much he uses in here. So again, like he uses 40 points as the height of the fonts. And for smaller fonts just like that, you can see right now is 18 points. So like for all this like title in here, he uses like 18 points for the title. And then the light height, I'm not sure like if you can do it the light heights in here like that, but again, like font sizes is 20 points for header font size like this, and for like small fonts like that, it's like you can still measure every single bit of it, right? So in this guy, it's like in here he has like very small content, which is like 12 points. So you only need 12 points to be in like small paragraph like that on the side. So for things that is not very prominent, you can just like use a smaller font size for it. So you can still like see, like you can still study every single part of the design from the same way, right? So what is the spacing between the paragraph and the title and the image area, right? So you can see that he leaves around like 80 point from like the top to the bottom here. So it's 80 point. 80 point is actually pretty good. 80 point. So if you in your design, right, if you only have like 40 points, that would be definitely too small, right? So again, study like this whole thing. How does he actually have like a divider in the middle, right? But how much space does he have between the divider and the content he has, right? So again, here's about like 45 points between that, and how wide is like I can't really see the grid in here, but I mean like there are other software you can use grid to try the grid, but I'm not gonna go too details into like how to use everything. But in this way, right, you can still study every single bit of the design. So that's how I really do it. You may ask like, hey dude, like Caleb, you're just so stupid. Why would you study a design like this? Like you can go on a website and inspect the website elements, right? So you can always inspect elements of a website. So if you don't know how, right, you can go in here and then inspect the elements, and you can see like all the details of that element as well. You can see the light height is 29 point. But one thing that I don't like about this approach is because like when we're studying a design, right, we're studying from a designer's perspective and we're not studying from an engineer perspective. One thing that kind of drives me crazy is that like a lot of time, if you don't already know, right, a design is always hand off to the developer. And when the design is handing off to the developer, sometimes like the pixel is very off and like the design is not as the design that was designed by the designer at first. So there's a lot of things that are off. So when you study a web page, right, you don't know what is the original design look like. So I would always try to like get as close to the original design as possible. That's like one of the way that I study. So that's all I have for the video, guys. So I really hope that you're enjoying what you're seeing it right now, and I hope that like this is like kind of more information that you can take in and potentially learn from how you study from other designs. I can tell you like this kind of studying practices it's what get me so much farther ahead from my game. Because like before, right, when I was just getting started, I really have no idea how big the padding should be, like how big the button should be, what is the button sizes inside the button should be, how much padding between the buttons should be, how big a font should be for the title test, what is the standard for the body content test, right? So all this like very little details, I really go on designs like that and try to copy them first. So copying is like the fundamental of learning everything, right? Think about when you're a baby, you have to copy your mom to learn how to walk, to learn how to speak, right? So copying is very important, and this is the way that I really did it, and it really helped me. Right now, still sometimes I still copy other people's design and study just like how I did it right now, right before. But really, like there's a lot of things that you can learn from it. So just spend some time copying other people's work and try to use other people's design method to be your own design work, and that you can improve so fast. So that's all for this video. So for the next video, when you come back, I don't remember what I'm going to talk about, but maybe I'm going to talk about like typography or something like along the line. So if you like the content of this video, please subscribe to this channel. And if you want to kind of follow me personally, you can see all my work on my Dribbble account. So if you have a Dribbble account, please follow me on Dribbble as well. I'll see you guys in the next video.